We just okay. So as I was saying, we would be discussing a little bit about uh, how to use the Bootstrap grid in our project. So as you might remember, we made this project yesterday using Bootstrap. It's nothing much, but we have this particular thing. So what I would do is I would show you how to use Bootstrap grid in this particular project only by making a particular footer here at the end of this page. So let's start that. So for using Bootstrap grid, as you might remember, we said that it's like a uh, container for every other element that we are using in the particular HTML document that we are making. So for that, we'll start with making it a container, and then we'll add one more class to it, that is row, because we also discussed that every Bootstrap grid has to has a row in first, and then we can divide it on the basis of columns. So this particular container that we are talking about will make the footer div that we have on our page. Okay, so this is that, and after that we'll start inserting the content into this. So we'll create another div. We'll apply a class of, let's say, call LG 4, let's say, and we'll insert some text here. Let's just keep this particular text. Okay, let's put it in a p tag, and then we have this closing tag of div, and we will close this p tag. Okay, so this is our first column uh, of the content that we have in our footer div. Then we can just copy this and let's say paste it over here, and we can change this to 8. So what I'm trying to make is we are trying to make a particular narrow column which will contain some information about the page, and we'll have a broader column on the right. So this is how we'll be using this. Okay, so let's just save this, and uh, let's open this in the browser. So you'll see that this stuff appears here, and you'll see that this particular text appears in a narrow column, which is this wide, and this particular text appears in a broader column, which is this wide. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's start styling this particular div. So let's say footer div. We'll give this a background color of let's say Simon only. Then we'll make a font color, sorry, color, we'll make it white. And then what we can do is we can position, we can put position as absolute. Then we can make it bottom 0 so that it gets fixed on the bottom of the page. So as you can see, we have this particular thing. Then we can also provide it with some padding, say padding of 4 em. I think that is fine. So you'll see that it gives padding of 4 em on all the sides. Okay, so I think it's not, the difference is not obvious right now. So let's do one thing, put some more text and some more text, and we'll refresh this, and you can see that this is how it appears. So now what I had to show you was that we have used call LG 8 here, okay, and call LG 4 here. So what this means is that whenever we saw the dimension of this LG, particular LG in last PPT. So what this means is that whenever the browser width that we are having uh, exceeds this particular dimension, then this particular element will occupy four columns, and this particular column content will occupy 8 columns. Let me just show you this practically. So as we can see, we have this footer div. So when we, as you can see, the width is 500 pixel right now. So when we move this browser, make it more wider, you will see that as soon as it crosses the threshold value, I think it's 1200. So as soon as it crosses 1200, you will see that there are 2 columns made of it. Okay, so the code that we have used will be executed only when the browser width is more than 1200, because we have used LG here. Okay, so I think you'll understand the difference here. This is how we use the Bootstrap grid. Okay, so let's do one more thing. We can change it from 8 to 4, and we can copy this particular div and paste it over here, and we can refresh this. So you'll see that there are 3 divs appearing here right now. So when you extend this browser width, you'll see that as it exceeds 1200 pixels, these right now these are being displayed as a list, and as soon as you exceed the width, you'll see that this appears in columns. Okay, so this is how you use Bootstrap grid in a particular project. And instead of, obviously this is a just a sample footer, so instead of using this paragraph, you could have inserted anything at it and it would work similarly. Okay, let me just show you on our Techanics website. Okay, so this footer that we have designed here is also uh, made using Bootstrap only. So when we minimize it, you'll see that it appears like this, a list with the text aligned in center. And when we keep on exceeding it, you'll see that it appears like this after the expansion of the browser window. Okay. So this is how the Bootstrap grid works. Okay. So I think that was everything we had to discuss as of the coding right now. Uh, okay. So if you have any doubts, please put them in the chat box. And once we are done with the doubts, we'll be proceeding to the PPT that I have prepared for today. Okay. So if you have any doubts, please post them in the chat box. Okay. So you can post your doubts in the chat box. And if none of you have any doubts, we can proceed to the PPT. How to create a flexbox. Okay, so for creating a flexbox, you'll have to first apply the CSS property of display flex. Okay, so when you apply when you apply that property on the particular div or whatever you are applying it on, it will create it a flexbox, and then you can use the further properties like flex start or justify center, justify content, align items, etc, etc. Okay. uh, Sir, how to get free domain to create website? Okay, so free domains you can't get I don't think you can get your whatever you want domain on in free, but there may be some you know some services that might be providing you that. But other than that, I know that Netlify and Firebase help you to host your websites for free if it's a static one. So you can get a domain name there only, but their domain name is something like firebase.web.app in that format. So if you are okay with that, you can use it. And similarly with Netlify and other services, there is a particular format they use. So if you want, you can uh, use that. How to create pop-up message using CSS. You can search that on Google, because if I start to explain it right now, I think we don't have that much time with us today. And other than that, it would be also needing a little bit of JavaScript. And if you don't want to use that, you can use modals in Bootstrap. If you don't want to get into that all that CSS stuff, you can use modals in Bootstrap. uh, any other doubts? If you have, you can post them right now in the chat. Also, creating pop-up messages in CSS can be done, but it would be a little tricky for you as you are a beginner right now. And but you can still, if you are curious about it, you can search it on Google, and maybe you can watch some video tutorials on YouTube. So I think there are no more doubts. So we can proceed to our PPT. Okay. So let's start. So as you all know, today is our last day for this webinar. So first of all, I would like to congratulate you all on finishing this particular course that we had organized successfully. So congratulations. And now that you have learned the basics of HTML, CSS, and Bootstrap, you have several paths that you can follow. But I personally would suggest you to learn JavaScript first, and then also practice HTML and CSS and Bootstrap simultaneously, just so you can, also keep in touch with what you have learned over these 4 days. Okay. So, but learning JavaScript would provide you with many benefits as of now, because it's very intuitive and good language, and a very strong tool to use in our web development things. And there is also a trend of using Node.js as a particular backend service for our website right now in the industry. So if you learn JavaScript, you will also have a upper hand in Node.js also. So you can learn that. And many of the frequently used frameworks like React, Angular, and Vue, they are all based in JavaScript. So if you learn JavaScript properly and you have all your basics clear, you can proceed on to that those particular frameworks also. So there are many options that you have available with you. You can first of all continue with front-end development. Uh, to continue with front-end development, you can start by learning JavaScript first while practicing HTML and CSS too simultaneously, because at the end of the day, HTML and CSS is a necessity to build your own website. So you'll have to understand them properly if you want to be a good front-end developer. Other than that, you can also use Bootstrap and etc things. But if you want to design robust front end that you see on sites in the modern day sites, it will take HTML and CSS to achieve that achieve that. for being an effective front-end developer, you can also learn some basic concepts of UI and UX designing. Even though these are quite different from front-end developer, it helps if one has this knowledge also. And frequently, all of these things are done by a front-end developer only in the small projects. So frequently, you will see that in industry, the front-end developer that the people hire, like if you are hiring a freelance front-end developer, that person would be designing the UI and UX also of that particular app or website, whatever he's designing. So if you have that uh, zest for designing, and you can if you are creative enough to present new concepts in your designs, so I think that this particular option you should explore. And for entering into this field of UI and UX designing, you should first understand the basic fundamentals of design that most of the designers use, like graphic designers and even architects and everything else. So there are many rules like visual hierarchy, then there are contrast and everything else. So you'll have to search for that on YouTube or anything, or maybe Google or something, so you can do that. And after that, I think learning Adobe XD or Figma or some other software that helps you in designing layout would be the next step if you choose this option. Other than that, then you have the option of start learning backend development. For backend development, you can learn languages like PHP, Java, Python, and there are many frameworks available in the market which you can further use for these languages. But in recent times, the main thing that is being used as a backend service is Node.js. So JavaScript enables you to use Node.js as a backend service, which many of the developers are using currently. So learning JavaScript will also provide you an advantage there. So I think if you don't consider yourself to be that like if you're not interested in front end development that much, then back end development is also a very good option for you. So backend development is basically designing APIs and so that the front end developers can communicate to the database and the things that are going on the backend things. So you'll be designing APIs basically. So that's something that you can look into if you're not interested in front end development. Then you can start learning DBMS. DBMS is database management system. So you can start learning that, and to know how the data that we take from the user is actually stored in the database. So in recent times, there has been a shift from SQL to NoSQL in the industry. So SQL is structured query language. So in SQL, what happens is the data that we stored in our database is stored as a in a tabular format, and it is given a particular columns, and you have to insert the data into that particular column for a particular row. So in NoSQL, you don't have that tabular format. You have documents, then you have what else? You have documents, then you have fields within them, and you can insert the data in them accordingly. So that is a particular thing that you can search about later if you are interested. And MongoDB and PostgreSQL are the frequently used DBMS in the present time. So next, or you can keep practicing HTML, CSS, and Bootstrap for now and get a firm grip on it. And then you can design beautiful static websites with animation and whatnot once you learn the basics of these things. Like animation, you can use many libraries are present there. So I think that is also an option that you can consider. Or other than that, you can also, if you have any idea that you have in your mind and it's like a dream project for you, you can start with your dream project, and later you can learn all the necessary things that uh, are required to make that dream project come true. So I think we'll congratulate you once again on completing this course and say thank you for the last time. And these are our Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and Instagram links if you want to know more about the services that we provide. And if you want to follow and see more of the stuff that we do, please follow them. Okay. And again, if there are some doubts, you can post them in the chat box right now. We'll give you a window of 10-15 minutes, and after that we'll be discussing on how to take the uh, quiz that we have prepared for you. Okay, so how to create. Okay, I think there are some more doubts, so please start JavaScript course after completing this web development course. We'll be circulating a feedback form. So if you are interested in enrolling in the JavaScript course that we might or might not organize, you can give a positive feedback there. And let's see, if we do organize a JavaScript course, you will be notified. Don't worry about that. Sir, front end development is superior or back end development? It obviously depends on your interest, like what you are interested in. It isn't something like it's subjective to a person. You might find front end development more easier and intuitive, and it comes automatically to you, and maybe you don't understand back end development that much, or maybe you don't like front end development or designing or something, and you have more logical approach to particular things. For them back end development would be better. So I can't say for everyone. For me particularly, I am a little bit more inclined towards front end development, but I also like to work in back end also. So uh, I can't say for sure right now. Then we have, what is UX and UI? Okay, so UI is user interface and UX is user experience. So user interface is the particular, like when we go on a website or we use a particular app. So the interface that you see and you interact with is designed by a user interface developer. So whenever you are using the particular website or an app, you'll see that there are particular things that are placed on the front end of it. So there will be buttons, there will be a particular text there, and if within those things there are particular rules that are followed, like contrast and color schemes and etc etc. So all that is designed by a UX and UI designer. And UX designer is more to do with how the product that we have designed will feel at the end. So like whenever you are using a particular, like let's say for example, the earlier Amazon app was not so particularly uh, easy to use, or I mean it was easy to use, but it was not that interactive and not very intuitive. So that was a particular fault that I personally found in Amazon app. But now that they have upgraded from that particular UI that they used before, I think now their UI and UX is very much improved. So that is the role of a UI UX designer. And if you are interested in that, I can suggest you some YouTube channels that you can follow, which create very great content for UI and UX designers. And there are also some websites like Behance.com, and I think Dribble is also one. So you can check them out later on. Okay. So can we host the website for free by the means of practice? Yes, you can host a website for free, but it should be static, basically, because if you are using a particular database and you are, giving out information and storing information and taking information from the user, you'll have to store it somewhere, and that will particularly cost you a little bit. But hosting for free can be done using, Firebase and Netlify, and many other services there might be. I'm not aware about them. uh, so you can use these two at least if you are interested. Is Python effective for web development? Which database is used for web development? Okay, so Python is a language that we use for, designing backend services. So it is not. I don't think it's used in front end development as such. But if you enter in the field of backend development, I it's quite useful right now, and many of the DBMS like MongoDB is also using Python, I guess. So it's quite effective. And which database is used for website development? You can choose any. So there are many options available in the market right now. So if you want, you can choose any depending on your requirement. It will differ. Okay. What's the difference between MySQL and MongoDB? So MySQL is, as I said, it's a SQL language. So when you insert the data into MySQL, database, you will be inserting it in form of a table, and you will have those particular rows and those particular columns to fill the data in. And in MongoDB, the MongoDB is a NoSQL language. So in that, there is no particular tabular format, and you'll have a particular user ID. Then you will have, inside that you'll be storing all the information, and uh, it is not compulsory that all the information of everybody, like all the columns of everybody, should match. So you can, you know uh, search for search for this on, I think there is a tutorial on YouTube that's very good. If I find it, I'll forward you the link in the group itself. So if you're still curious about it, you can just search on Google and maybe read some articles about it. What is DBMS? DBMS is database management system. So whenever you are storing the data that you take from user, you will be using DBMS, and it's used for storing information. Sir, on a JavaScript webinar, please inform me if you are gonna conduct. As I said before, we'll be circulating a feedback form. If you are interested, please fill that. Let's see. For security point of view, which point should consider? For security point of view, if you're talking about ethical hacking or something like that, there is a separate domain for that, so you can learn that particular thing on. And everything is, in today's world, everything is available on the internet, so you can search for that. And for security point of view, I think you're talking about ethical hacking only. So if you are interested in that, you can go for that also. But I think it's unrelated to web development as far as I know. Can you give in any basic knowledge for JavaScript? uh, there is no basic knowledge of JavaScript as such, because there are many things to, cover before jumping into coding JavaScript. So it will take a lot of time to give the basics also. So I can't do it right now, I think. Please discuss the pattern of the test. Yes, we'll discuss that. As you said, MongoDB is a database is MongoDB compatible with all front-end languages? Yeah. I think that it's compatible with all of the languages, and you'll have to design backend services for storing the data and retrieving the data. As far as I know, it's good to know that you are curious about these things. And if my answer to these queries of yours uh, don't you know I if you don't find it useful or helpful, you can search it on Google, and maybe you'll find a better article or a tutorial that would guide you more. Because I also personally don't I have not used MongoDB on things like that, so I also very don't have the particular knowledge about it, as I conduct quiz many times from Google Forms. So in this, we clear the exam. Yeah. So if you clear the exam that we are going to conduct later on, you will get the certificate. Thank you for this webinar. I'm non-programming background reference book for web development. I don't think there is a need of any book as such for web development. If you then also, if you are like old school and you prefer books over these websites or online courses or something, you can search it on Google. I think I won't be able to suggest you a book, because basically I have not used a book for web development up until now. So maybe you should search it on your own about that. And maybe in today's world you should follow I mean, it's my opinion, but you should follow a particular tutorial on YouTube or Udemy or Udacity or something, instead of referring to books. I mean, it's my opinion, but I think that would be more helpful. UI means user interface, UX means user experience. What is a static website? So static websites are like, they are informative pages like the ones we have created in the past few days. So those were the static websites. So in static websites, there is not much there is there are no dynamic elements. Like you don't have to create them on the spot, like when you are using that page or something. And also it doesn't stores data, or does something crazy about it. So uh, static website you can just define as an informative website which has the information that you want to provide to the user, and maybe take some input or something. Uh, that's static website in my opinion. HTML and CSS. Okay. MongoDB means MongoDB is a service for uh, database management system. So you can search more about that on Google. XML or HTML, which is preferable, and does XML go with CSS? XML is a way of representing your data, so you can't compare it with HTML. And as I don't have much idea about it, but as far as I know, you don't have to use CSS with it, because it's just a way of representing a data. So you don't have to make it very aesthetically beautiful or something. Okay? And you can't compare XML and HTML as far as I know. I also have I'm not aware about it, maybe. So you can search that on Google. What is AngularJS? Can HTML and CSS working with AngularJS? Okay, so AngularJS is a framework based on JavaScript for making, making more robust front end, and like making components of your websites. And they basically are obviously they use HTML and CSS also, so you will be working with that if you step into AngularJS. And AngularJS, other than that, I can only explain you the working of it. So what happens is that when we see a website, we see many components present there, like navbar and side panel, the main content panel, etc., etc. So AngularJS and frameworks like this, React and etc., etc., they help us in making the website that we are creating more easy, and it also increases the speed that the particular website loads at. What is XML and XHTML? I'm not aware about the full form of XML and XHTML. And about XML, I know only this, that it's something to do with representing your data on a web page. And you'll have to search it on Google. I can't help it. I can't help with that much. Okay. So AngularJS versus Node.js. There is no comparison between AngularJS and Node.js. AngularJS is a JavaScript framework, as I said before. So you can create websites on AngularJS. And in Node.js is like before Node.js, JavaScript was compiled and could be ran only in browsers. So you'll have to create an HTML page also to use JavaScript. Now that Node.js is in the play, what Node.js enables us to do is you can compile and run JavaScript code in your computer only, like without using browser. So that's the function of Node.js. So you can't compare them both. They are two totally different things. Sir, exam is conducted for MCQ or programming? No, it's MCQ only. How to insert copyright symbol in a browser page? Uh, you have those icons prepared by some designer, so you can directly copy paste it, not you can directly insert those as an image, or maybe there is some shortcut on your keyboard or something. I don't know. I have no knowledge about that. With respect to Flutter course, can you tell me the difference between React Native and Flutter? I don't think I'm qualified to talk about this particular topic, so you can you know again refer to Google or YouTube about this. Also, how is mobile application linked to desktop app websites? So there are many ways to do that, but one particular way that we follow mainly is that uh, we give the two a common database. Okay, so the information stored in app gets also stored in the same database, and the uh, information stored via the website also gets stored in the same database. So you can, whenever you are referring to anything, you can they have a common database, so you can refer to all of that. So that's how they are linked. And there are also real-time databases right now, in today's time. So as soon as you make any change in a particular you know either in your mobile application or your desktop application, you can see it immediately. Flutter comes in backend or front end development. I think it does both, but again you'll have to search that. uh, what is a canvas element and HTML5? So canvas element is, I have not used it as such, so maybe I may be a little bit wrong about it, but I think it's used for inserting SVGs and particular components that you you want to insert as it is. So like svgs are there and many more things are there, so you can insert them in canvas directly. Okay, extensive. Okay, so Sanskar sir has come up with the answer to XML and HTML. Okay, so extensible markup language is XML and extensible hypertext markup language is XHTML. Okay. Thank you, Sanskar sir, for that. That's something new even I learned today. And share test time and date. Once we are done with the doubt session, we'll be moving on to that. Most popular framework for web development, which one would you suggest? Okay, so popular framework, there is a tough competition between AngularJS and React.js right now, and then also Vue.js comes into picture. But personally, I feel that React.js is the, you know, has a little bit of an upper hand over the two other counterparts. And again, there it depends on the necessity and the requirements that we have to design a project. So you know, in conclusion, it depends on it, so can't say for sure. Okay, and copy command used for, okay, thank you, Osama sir, for telling me this new piece of information. And copy is the command used for copyright symbol. Okay, thank you. I couldn't attend the webinar, yeah, because there was no, you consider me for those, I'll be banned forever. Okay, so Sanskar sir has already cleared that doubt. So I think we are done for today. And if there are no more doubts, we can just move on to the discussion about the test timing and all. So, okay, Sanskar sir, I think there are no more doubts. So can we
Yeah,
proceed to the discussion?
sure, sure. Before the discussion about exam and date time, all, I would like to show you one video about advantage of flutters because many of the participants messaged me what is the advantage of Flutter, why Flutter is used. So let me share the screen. Dhruv sir, can you please stop your screen?
Yeah, yeah, sure. Okay, done.
Okay. Yes.
Sir, I think your screen is not being shared right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, one second, I'm working on it. Yeah.
Okay, okay, no problem.
Is it visible now?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay, I guess many of them gave their answer about React Native and Flutter also. So, is that the video was audible, Dhruv sir?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
audible, and I think it cleared up most of the doubts that people had. And if you could share the link of that video on the WhatsApp group, it would be more useful, I think.
Sure, sure. I'll get back to that. Okay. Now we'll discuss about the exam and number of exam questions are there. Okay. There are 15 questions which are based on MCQs, and it's all about theoretical part. No programming is included there because time limit of exam will be only of 1.5 hours because there is only 15 questions. So I'll request every participant should suggest a time to conduct the examination. The exam time should varies from 5 to 7. So from which time should we start the examination? Please comment on the chat box. We'll decide right now. Okay, in between Hemant sir, I will like to answer you. We are covering Flutter courses. I'll share you the screen. What is the topics of Flutter? We are going to cover. That is Introduction to Dart official programming language of Flutter, which is actually the official language of Google also. Then installation and setup, then advanced UI and design, basic app from scratch. Like you don't need any experience of making apps or any programming languages. We'll all teaching you in there. Day 5, it will be advanced app using Flutter and Firebase. Like it will be work in iOS and Android store as well.
Okay, I like to point out one thing more. On day 5, we will be learning a bit about Firebase too. So Firebase is a very used technology at the present time. So you learning that would add more value to your resume. So I think that would be more beneficial.
Correct, yeah. So as of chat box, I got some messages like conduct it now itself, but the problem is it's actually the nap time of many of the individuals in India. Many of the people goes to sleep in this afternoon time. And second response is 5 p.m. I guess we can conduct the examination 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Is that okay with everyone? Please type okay in the chat box. Okay, perfect. So basically, we form two groups. I mean, two WhatsApp groups in our database. So as of Gmail limitation, we can deliver 100 certificates in one day. So we are conducting 2 days examination. The questions will be same, no problem. First day we will gonna circulate that exam link on first group, and the second day will be circulating the exam link on second group. So if your group is, I mean, you are the participant of first group, so we'll be sharing that link today itself. And if you are the participant of second group, then we'll be sharing the link tomorrow. So no need to worry. And yes, if you fail in the examination, like many of the questions are, what if we fail in the examination? So we'll be forwarding the second link, which will be the certification of participant. I mean, certificate of participation. You just need to enter your name and email address with your college name, so we can verify your name in our database, and we'll send you the certification of participation. So is that good with it? We share the registration link of for Flutter. Okay. Give me a bit time. I'll be gonna share you the link. Any more question in chat box, please? Okay, here is the link for the registration for Flutter webinar. Can you please write those instructions in main group? My connection went wrong with when the. Okay, I'll write every instruction in the group also as well in a message form. Exam date is today and tomorrow. That is 25 and 26 May. Passing criteria will be 40%, since there are many of the people which are out of the background for web development and programming. So we decided to keep that passing criteria of 40%. Required email ID for Yeah, we'll be taking the email address. Please note that you enter the email address correctly in the exam form, because all the certificates will be delivered on email and will not get the second chance to write the exam, or we can send that on WhatsApp also, because it's an official company mail. So we can't send that certificate on the WhatsApp. Exam is today and tomorrow. Yeah, exam is today and tomorrow. Any more questions? Is there any another form for exam? Uh, yeah, we'll be sharing the exam form link on WhatsApp, and it will be yeah. There will be a problem. Like many of the people will face that on certificate while receiving the certificate, they'll see that unknown file. So all you have to do is you have to download an unknown file, and going on the file manager, you will open that with Microsoft Word. So your certificate will be visible. I'd like to share one photo also if possible, like how you will receive that unknown file. Okay, if you receive the mail like this, the unknown file, if you see, you can say this unknown file. So all you have to do is save. The file will be saved in your device, and then open with Word or PDF viewer. Anything, whatever it is, whatever the software is installed in your device, it will be open. The exam will be sent on. Yeah, the exam will be sent on the WhatsApp itself. Both exam on today and tomorrow are different. No, the exams on today and tomorrow will not be different. Will be conduct. I mean, will be consist of same questions. Thank you for organizing such nice. Yeah, thank you very much. We appreciate your presence. Okay, certificate of participants and certificate of merit. That's a good question. Those who will pass the exam, they'll get a certificate of merit, and those who will fail the exam, they have to fill the second form, which will be shared on 27th of May. So you'll get the certificate of participation on that day. Timings will be tomorrow. Timing will be Same 5 to 6:30. Please send in PDF. Yeah, ma'am. Sorry. We are sharing it in PDF format only, but some of the technical errors are there. So some of the people are receiving like unknown format. So please consider that. Before half an hour, we'll go and share that exam link to you on group. Test can be given on today or tomorrow. Pankaj sir, I said earlier, today we'll be conducting exam for first group, and tomorrow it will be conducting for second group. So if you are in first group, so you have to give exam today, and if you are in second group, so you have to give exam tomorrow. Certificates will be given on same day. Yeah. Result will be on that time. I mean, as soon as you submit the exam, you'll see the icon view score. You can see there your results. How we know we pass or fail? Uh, Pallavi ma'am, we can view that in view score option after submitting. If you score more than 40% or 40% dot, so you'll get passed. Or if less than 40%, you will be fail on that. Group info. Sorry, I didn't get your question, Pankaj sir. Does the certificate consist marks? No, the certificate doesn't consist marks as well, because if some of the participants scores 40%, that will be not valid for their CV also. So we didn't add the marks in that certificate. Negative marks are there? No, there are no negative marks. The certificate will share on email. Yeah, it will be shared on email itself. Is it any more question or doubt? Any doubts on Flutter webinar also can be and are invited here. Thank you so much, ma'am. No, if you pass the examination, you'll get the certificate of merit, and I guess that is enough for you. Certificate of participation is like just attending the webinar and not passing the exam. Any more questions? Omkar sir, I guess the WhatsApp groups are already created with the name of web development webinar, where I used to share the links of webinar and Flutter webinar itself. The WhatsApp groups are created already. No, I don't think that there is any need to create any test groups. On the, I guess in first group there are 100 people, and second group I guess there are 80 to 70, 80 people are there. So accordingly, we will change that in a test group as well. Thank you so much, Bhagyashree ma'am. Thank you, Devil sir. Participant certification that will be delivered on 25 and 26th of May as per your test schedule. And merit certification will be delivered on 26th and 27th, sorry, 25 and 26th of May. And participant certification will be shared on 27th of May. That is day after tomorrow. Siddhi ma'am, if I share the link on your group, that would be your first group. Or we'll change the name of group. Like we'll keep we'll notate that as a first group and second group as well. That would be very easy to recognize that you are on first group or second group. Yeah, yes, sir. We'll. The questions are already related to the topics which we have covered. We have to go little deep in itself. No, you whatever we have covered here, on that basis, we're gonna conduct the examination. Participant certification will be given if you fail the examination. Merit certification will be given if you pass the examination. Timing for examination will be 5 to 6:30. 1.5 hours. I guess that is enough for 15 questions. No, you can't get the certification of merit and participation as well. There are requests to add them in first group. We are so sorry we can't change the group itself. I hope you must be on first group if you have registered earlier. Okay, we'll be sharing this PPT and code by Dhruv sir on WhatsApp itself after the session ends. And we'll be sharing the YouTube link where we have uploaded all the webinars. I mean, today's webinar and last 5 days webinar also. So we'll be sharing the YouTube channel link where the videos had been uploaded. So it will be easy if you have to go through again. Is Flutter the platform? Yes, Raj, sir. The Flutter is the platform for mobile development. It is actually used for Android and iOS also. I mean, one code base is enough for that. Pankaj, I again didn't got your question. What is group info? So if you're asking about the test group info, then it will be shared as soon as possible. I mean, we will be changing the name of groups. Thank you, Rohit. So yeah, I appreciate that you enjoyed the group. I mean, enjoyed the session. The questions will be of MCQs. There is no subjective questions. Wow. Everything is theoretical based. Anushka, ma'am, we are going to change the name of groups which are, where you are the already a participant of. Yeah, Yogi. So you will get the only merit or participation certificate. Only one. Okay, any more questions? We are going to, I again repeat, like we are going to change the name of groups, like group one, group two. So you'll be getting known about that in which group you are. Sure, sure, yeah. We'll be sharing the link in group also. Is there any more questions in chat groups? If any questions, please share on chat group. We have to conclude the session right now. I guess no more questions are there. So Dhruv sir, can we conclude this?
Yeah, sure. So I would like to congratulate once again to everybody, and you have successfully finished this webinar that we had organized. And thank you for being patient and so cooperative. And I hope you achieve great success in your life. Okay. So, okay, Sanskar sir, if you want to add something.
Yeah, I'll congratulate everyone. Like you have completed this 5 days webinar also, and you gained a very good knowledge about basics and advance of web development. And I appreciate that you've shown your interest in doubt sessions also. Many of you and I conducted the webinar. I didn't get the many doubts on that, but here as well, we got many of the doubts, and we were happy to solve that. Okay, there are many questions. Exam will be conducted on Google Form itself. Yeah. Thank you, Yogesh sir. What survey does HSPM solution provide? Okay, so getting on it, HSPM solution is basically an hardware and software product management company which provides you software as well as app development facilities. Like if you are in college or if you are in some school, or if you own a business. So in this pandemic, if you want to growth, if you want any growth in your business, like you want to go online. So basically, we provide you the website development facilities. You can just contact on number. I'll share on the chat box. Give me a minute. If you are owning a small business, that would be great if you are working with us, and we will be so happy to deliver you the website and app for your business. And it's actually very user friendly app. We create very user friendly app. I'll share you the number. Please note it down. It will be helpful for you. Okay, I shared that 888 number, and I request everyone to follow us on Instagram as well. The name is Techanics and HSPM support. So you'll get many updates of that. And we have launched a new brand itself. That name is Techanics. So after lockdown, we are going to like what Techanics does is we used to provide 90 minutes service for like if you break your mobile screen, any technical problem in your Mac or in Windows or any laptop, anything. So we promise that we'll be giving you 24 hours of assistance, and we'll be picking up from your home in 90 minutes itself. For now, it's in Pune only, but we're going to expand our networks. So it's enough for now, and I guess we can conclude. Thank you, everyone. I hope everyone have joined the Flutter webinar also. That would be a same interesting one. Any queries on Flutter webinar will be shared on group as well. So Dhruv sir, can we end the session?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Okay, thank you once again.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay.